These folks had something to do with it, bro. These folks don't know that Juke put a hit out, bro.
This is Groove Hero, a Young Dolph affiliate, dropping some street knowledge on Instagram alleging that Big Juke had a $40,000 bounty on Young Dolph's head. Well, with this news, it is no surprise that Young Dolph's affiliates would clown Yo Gotti's brother after word got out that he had been killed. Some of the messages are ominous and point towards Big Juke's death being a retaliation for killing Young Dolph. Young Dolph's affiliates clown Big Juke.
Well, at least 5 police sources have confirmed with Fox 13 that the person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Juke. Now, Big Juke is the brother of rapper Yo Gotti.
Big Juke's tragic death was welcomed by several of Young Dolph's affiliates who went on to social media to show their delight. Just a few days after his brother's death, Young Dolph's cousin, Paper Route Vicky, took to social media to post a hit list which included Black Youngstar, who was Dolph's rival. The list, which was titled Get Back List, featured names such as Old Boy and Old Boy Brother, which people claim are Yo Gotti and Big Juke. This could be the case as Old Boy Brother's name is checked off. Well, even from Paper Route Vicky's other posts, you could see that she is serious about getting revenge for Dolph's death. Artists from Young Dolph's label, Paper Route Empire, were also on hand to seemingly celebrate Big Juke's death with posts on social media. First was Snoop Bands, who went on Facebook to make his feelings known on the matter. "Come pick up y'all Juke packs," the rapper posted. An obvious dig at Big Juke's tragic death. Snoop Bands didn't stop there. He also posted a screenshot of 100 Shots, a song by Young Dolph. It is rumored that Big Juke was riddled with bullets when he was murdered. He then posted CMF. According to Dolph fans on the internet, it refers to Cocaine Music Family, which is a diss to Yo Gotti's label Collective Music Group, CMG. Interestingly, Gotti's label was once called Cocaine Music Group. However, 50 Cent advised Yo Gotti to drop the name Cocaine because it wasn't built for commercial success. "Yo, you're winning, but you can't be Cocaine Music Group. That's too harsh. They're going to be scared of that," 50 Cent advised Yo Gotti. Another Young Dolph affiliate, Kenny Muni, took to Instagram Live where he played Young Dolph's old diss track to Yo Gotti and Big Juke. He was straight up being goofy the whole time as people in the comments posted Dolph emojis. Groove Hero also took to Facebook the same day Big Juke was killed and posted "Thank God for everything." While it's not clear if he was directly referring to the Big Juke situation, people on the internet speculate that the timing of his post was a bit too convenient. Paper Route Woo, who is signed to Dolph's label, also took to Facebook where he posted "Shut y'all up." If this doesn't convince you that he was referring to the big situation, he then posted on his story a line from a song by Slime Life Shawty saying, "But you know we got to get back." Although Young Dolph's affiliates are not in the right for clowning a dead man, it is important to note that Big Juke, who was already 40 years old when Dolph died, went on social media to clown Dolph and his family following Dolph's tragic murder. In 2021, Big Juke took to his Instagram where he shared his discontent over a street painting that featured his brother's op. The painting featured NLE Choppa, Moneybagg Yo, and Young Dolph, and Big Juke did not hold back.
I don't paint no beside two real with a in the middle, man. Y'all don't do that, man. Don't about legacy. So right here, y'all.
Big Juke had some pretty strong feelings towards the late Young Dolph, but hate towards the dead rapper continued after a mural dedicated to him was vandalized.
Frustrations are boiling over across Memphis after a mural dedicated to rapper Young Dolph is vandalized.
It's getting crazier in Memphis as Big Juke's death continues to look like revenge for Young Dolph's death. However, it is worth noting that there have already been deaths that have been attributed to Dolph's revenge. One of the deaths was of female rapper Lotta Cash Desto. To understand why her death was considered retaliation for Dolph's death, we have to dig into Hernandez Govan, her father. 43-year-old Hernandez Govan was arrested for ordering the murder of Young Dolph.
Govan asked for Young Dolph to be murdered.
Mr. Govan has been indicted and is in custody for being involved in the Young Dolph murder. He played the role of the person who solicited the murder.
The arrest of Govan changed everything. The rumors suggested that Big Juke had been spotted with Hernandez Govan, as a photo of the pair together started making rounds on the internet. It was even rumored that Govan was Big Juke's right-hand man and had paid him to organize Dolph's death. Govan's daughter, Lotta Cash Desto, whose real name was Destiny Govan, was shot and killed on September 24, 2022 at 5500 Richmond Eve.
Govan's daughter, she was also a rapper, but she was killed in Houston in September.
Yeah, she went by Lotta Cash Desto, but her real name, Destiny Govan. Houston police say the 25-year-old was shot and killed in Houston September 24th early that morning.
On the fateful day, Lotta Cash was driving a Porsche SUV with a 20-year-old female passenger at around 2:30 a.m. when a four-door sedan pulled alongside the SUV at a red light. Police say two men hopped out of the car and opened fire on the women. Lotta Cash was quick to draw her firearm and shoot back, catching one of the attackers in the abdomen. Unfortunately, the rapper was shot multiple times, robbed, and was pronounced dead at the scene. The female passenger was transported to a local hospital with a single gunshot wound. The rapper's father, Hernandez Govin, took to Instagram to mourn her daughter's death and even blame himself for her death. "I think I cursed you, Destiny, with my lifestyle. I apologize, baby," he posted. This led people to believe that Lotta Cash's death was a retaliation for her father's role in Young Dolph's murder. Lotta Cash Desto was not the only one who was caught in the deadly beef. A popular gang member in Memphis and a known Young Dolph hater was also gunned down.
A high-profile gang member was killed in a shooting in Orange Mound this afternoon. This is according to family members who tell us Joshua Taylor was named a person of interest in the Young Dolph murder case back in February of 2022.
Joshua Taylor's life came to a devastating end when he became the victim of a fatal shooting in Memphis. This incident has left family members and investigators grappling with unanswered questions and seeking justice for his untimely demise. But upon peeling back a few layers, one will easily uncover some disturbing details that may suggest his death was revenge for his involvement in a murder. In the heart of Memphis, a city known for its rich musical history, a man named Joshua Taylor found himself entangled in a web of mystery and intrigue. Joshua, also known by his alias CEO Teezy, was no stranger to the spotlight. He had garnered attention as a person of interest in the high-profile murder case of rapper and music executive Young Dolph. The story of Joshua Taylor begins long before his involvement in the Young Dolph case. Born and raised in Memphis, Joshua grew up in a neighborhood that was no stranger to violence and crime. Despite the challenges he faced, Joshua had dreams of making it big in the music industry. He possessed a raw talent and an undeniable charisma that drew people to him. As Joshua's reputation grew, so did his connections within the music industry. He rubbed shoulders with some of the biggest names in the business, attending parties and events where he made a name for himself. But beneath the glitz and glamour, there was a darker side to Joshua's life. In February 2022, Joshua Taylor's name became synonymous with the Young Dolph murder case. The rapper, whose real name was Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., was tragically gunned down while shopping at Makeda's Cookies, a place that held sentimental value to him. The news sent shockwaves through the music industry and the city of Memphis. Authorities quickly identified Joshua as a person of interest in the case. They believed he may have had crucial information about the murder or the whereabouts of the alleged shooters. The investigation revealed that Joshua had a complex relationship with one of the accused, Justin Johnson. It was suspected that Joshua may have been privy to information that could shed light on the events leading up to Young Dolph's untimely demise. However, despite being named as a person of interest, Joshua Taylor was never directly charged in connection with the murder. Investigators were keen to uncover the truth and determine if Joshua had any involvement or knowledge of the crime. They wanted to know if he knew where Justin Johnson was on the day of the murder or if he had any information that could help solve the case. While the Young Dolph murder case continued to captivate the public's attention, Joshua Taylor's life took a tragic turn. On the fateful evening, Joshua became the victim of a fatal shooting in Memphis, and his body was discovered the following morning. Family members were left devastated by the loss, and the community was left grappling with the shocking news. The circumstances surrounding Joshua Taylor's murder remained shrouded in mystery. Was his death connected to his involvement in the Young Dolph case, or was it a separate incident altogether? However, according to many on the internet, it doesn't take a genius to connect the dots and see that Dolph's death is being avenged. Even cops got in on the action as they started making arrests in relation to Dolph's murder. 9 days after Dolph's shooting, on December 9th, police arrested the first person they believed to be involved in the superstar's death. Cornelius Smith was arrested after a traffic stop in South Haven, Mississippi.
Video of the arrest of one of the men accused in Young Dolph's murder. Last night we told you Cornelius Smith was arrested in South Haven a month ago. Police picked him up on a warrant for an alleged carjacking involving that white Mercedes that was used in Dolph's murder.
Smith was picked up on an auto theft warrant involving the stolen white Mercedes-Benz, though his arrest and alleged connection to Young Dolph's murder would not be publicized by South Haven police until later, as authorities across the country worked to find other suspects. And on January 5th, 2022, 7 weeks to the day of Young Dolph's murder, Memphis police announced a warrant on a first-degree murder charge for Justin Johnson.
A major break in the murder of Memphis rapper Young young Dolph. U.S. Marshals announcing the man you see on your screen here, 23-year-old Justin Johnson, is wanted for first-degree murder and violating parole. There is a $15,000 reward being offered for his capture.
Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop, is a rapper from Memphis who is now the main suspect in the murder of Dolph. Fans speculated that he had ties to the shooting once they recognized that the location of the Mercedes-Benz that was used as the getaway car was featured in his music video for Going Straight In. The video was taken off the internet after they realized that they had snitched on themselves. The U.S. Marshals had promised a $2,500 reward for information that would lead to his capture, and was also placed on the most wanted list and considered to be armed and dangerous. He was later arrested and charged for Dolph's murder. But how did the beef between Yo Gotti and young Dolph start and lead to so much death and destruction? The deadly beef. Before he met his death, young Dolph and Yo Gotti had been neck-deep in a rivalry that had seen bullets exchanged. What is even more interesting is that young Dolph seemed to be cool with Yo Gotti's brother, Big Juke, before the feud started. And during their beef, young Dolph revealed some shocking details that make Big Juke's murder in 2024 look really bad for Yo Gotti. So who did the beef start, and what exactly did Dolph reveal about Big Juke? The Memphis rap scene was dominated by Yo Gotti, who achieved national prominence with hit singles such as I Know and Down in the DM. Not only had Yo Gotti's popularity increased, but he had also established his own empire thanks to his CMG imprint, which now houses talented artists such as 42 Dugg and Black Youngstar from Memphis. During Yo Gotti's reign, however, young Dolph emerged as a formidable competitor. Young Dolph founded Paper Route Empire in 2008, and he quickly began to make a name for himself in the industry. Collaborations with rap game giants such as Gucci Mane further solidified his ascending status. In 2015, young Dolph's popularity and fan base skyrocketed, placing him in direct competition with Yo Gotti, which resulted in a bitter rivalry. Young Dolph and Yo Gotti's feud achieved its pinnacle in 2016, with both artists engaging in a public feud, firing shots at each other through their music and social media. Young Dolph, known for his forthrightness, voiced his displeasure with Yo Gotti, specifically referencing the time he turned down Yo Gotti's offer to sign a record contract with CMG. From Young Dolph's perspective, Gotti took offense at Dolph's decision, establishing the groundwork for their ongoing animosity. Young Dolph's announcement that his debut album would be titled King of Memphis was an important point in the developing rivalry. Many were taken aback by this action, as Yo Gotti had long claimed the title for himself. Despite Gotti's silence on the subject, the Memphis rap community regarded Dolph's album title as a direct challenge to Gotti's claim to the throne. Despite the tension, young Dolph attempted to tone down the conflict during a February 2016 radio show appearance. He appreciated Yo Gotti's early support in his career and explained that the title of his album was not intended as an insult, but rather reflected the mindset of himself and his crew, who considered themselves kings in their own right. However, tensions rose even more when Yo Gotti's CMG artist, Black Youngstar, publicly criticized young Dolph in an Instagram video. Black Youngstar questioned Dolph's claim to be the king of Memphis and resorted to threats, demonstrating that the hatred between the two groups was serious. The conflict between young Dolph and Yo Gotti reached new heights on March 2nd, 2016, when Black Youngstar showed up in young Dolph's Memphis area. Black Youngstar was accompanied by a number of his goons as they roamed through South Memphis's Castalia neighborhood, reportedly looking for young Dolph.
Right now, cuz. We in Castalia right now, cuz. What Dolph at, cuz? Where he at, cuz? Where he at? Where he at right now?
While the two sides did not cross paths during this encounter, it was clear that their hostility went much deeper than a battle of words on social media and in their diss tracks. While young Dolph had mainly taken the high road throughout the conflict, by March 16, 2016, his patience had run out. Dolph openly responded against Yo Gotti in a series of Instagram posts, accusing him of harboring anger for Memphis rap icons like 3 6 Mafia and 8 Ball and MJG. He further alleged that Gotti sent Black Youngstar to fight his battles and that he had even called the cops on him. Dolph stated unequivocally that he had no intention of ever signing with Gotti, and he also reminded him of his feud with Gucci Mane, hinting that Gotti's animosity towards him stemmed from his continuous relationship with Gucci. Black Youngstar wasted no time in responding to Dolph's harsh statements, releasing a diss track titled Shake Some, which he famously performed barely a month after Dolph's death. Youngstar criticized young Dolph's Memphis ties and attacked his claim to be the city's king in the song. He also declared his devotion to Gotti and called Dolph's legitimacy and credentials as a Memphis musician into doubt. Black Youngstar declared the feud over months after clashing with young Dolph in an interview with Vlad TV. Youngstar put an end to the rivalry by revealing that despite their feud, Yo Gotti actually liked young Dolph, but Dolph refused to accept that it was resolved, leaving room for additional strife. Later, young Dolph released the diss track, Play With Your directed at Yo Gotti, which went viral. The song was brutal as it made damning revelations of Dolph dating Gotti's baby mama. And this is where Dolph also revealed some shocking details about Yo Gotti and Big Juke. In a skit in the song, a Big Juke lookalike appears and thanks young Dolph for his support. The Big Juke lookalike then says that his brother has been messing up his life. Later in the song, Dolph reveals that there was a time that Big Juke and Yo Gotti were not seeing eye to eye. During that period, young Dolph took care of Big Juke. I'm the same lil bro that was helping your big brother put food on his table when you wasn't f***ing with him, bro, he rapped. Nevertheless, when the beef started, it seems Big Juke went back to being cool with his brother and forgot all about young Dolph's kind-heartedness. Well, young Dolph had some words for him too. Tell your fat big brother, man, I said he a too. Matter of fact, your big sister, tell your fat big sister that I said he a too. Know what I mean? I use a the whole city know that, streets know that, stay out my way. Yo Gotti's long silence on the developing animosity with young Dolph came to a conclusion after he issued his diss tune Don't Beef With Me, where he cleverly avoided direct confrontation with his op. Young Dolph, never one to back down, responded with the release of his Play With Yo music video. The video mocked Yo Gotti mercilessly. Dolph went all in, using a Gotti impersonator in the video, indicating that the animosity had reached new heights. Exactly one day after the video dropped, Yo Gotti seemed to retaliate, but this time with bullets. On February 25th, 2017, news spread that young Dolph had been targeted in a gunshot in Charlotte, North Carolina, escalating the rivalry. Over 100 shots were fired at his vehicle, but owing to his armored SUV, Dolph escaped unharmed. He went on the stage later that night, unfazed by the event, and performed his Yo Gotti diss hit, Play With Yo. The message was clear. He was not going to back down. However, young Dolph appeared to have changed his mind. During an interview, he called his battle with Yo Gotti old news, turning his focus to the future rather than the past. A tragedy occurred just as the animosity appeared to be cooling. On September 26, 2017, young Dolph was again the victim of a shooting, this time in Hollywood. Details on the incident were scant as she was rushed to the hospital. Yo Gotti was named a person of interest by the LAPD after an altercation between their entourages escalated into gunfire. However, the Los Angeles Police Department reaffirmed a day later that Yo Gotti was not a person of interest in the shooting, denying the early reports. Corey McClendon, a Yo Gotti associate, was instead charged with attempted murder in connection with the incident. As the investigation progressed, Corey McClendon was unexpectedly freed without prosecution on September 28, 2017. Despite the absence of arrests, the animosity between the two artists was evident, keeping fans and the wider public on edge, wondering if the rivalry would ever be completely settled. The beef died down after that. However, 4 years later, tragedy struck as young Dolph was gunned down in his hometown. And now, 3 years later, Yo Gotti's brother has suffered the same fate.
Mims was shot in the parking lot of Pernod's Restaurant and Event Center.
A few hours before his tragic death, Big Juke to his Instagram, where he posted a photo with an ominous caption, which read, "They don't want to face you, they want to snake you. Stay alert. To stay alive, watch your back at all times. Put snakes on the plate and eat great." Little did he know that this would be his last day on Earth. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon when tragedy struck. Big Juke, known for his involvement in managing Yo Gotti's music label, Collective Music Group CMG, was attending a funeral service on Winchester Road's 6300 block. As the funeral service progressed, Juke, dressed in a somber black suit, joined other family members to pay their respects to his late uncle Eric, a legendary kingpin in the area. Eric Bovan, a well-known Memphis cocaine kingpin in the 1980s and the head of the Bovan family, had a significant connection to Big Juke and Yo Gotti. He was a former partner of their aunt. Bovan passed away on December 31st at the age of 63, and his funeral brought together family and friends to pay their respects. The repast at Perignon's Restaurant and Event Center was meant to provide an opportunity for loved ones to come together and find solace in each other's company. The atmosphere was heavy with grief and remembrance, but no one could have anticipated the horror that awaited them outside the Event Center and Perignon Restaurant. The atmosphere was heavy with grief and remembrance, but no one could have anticipated the horror that awaited them outside. It was in the vicinity of the funeral service that Big Juke's life was tragically cut short. Gunshots rang out, shattering the peace and causing panic among the mourners. Big Juke was fatally wounded, his body succumbing to the violence that unfolded before their eyes. The chaos that ensued was captured on video, providing crucial evidence for the investigation that would follow. Memphis police, responding swiftly to the scene, were met with a grim sight. Big Juke lay motionless, his life extinguished in an instant. The news of Big Juke's death reverberated throughout the city, prompting an outpouring of condolences and tributes from fans, friends, and fellow artists. The loss of such a vibrant vibrant and influential individual sent shockwaves through the music community, leaving many grappling with the senselessness of the tragedy. According to police reports, Big Jook was not the only one who was shot that afternoon. Turns out another man was also rushed to the same hospital after sustaining gunshot wounds. The Memphis Police Department appealed to the public for any information that could assist in solving the case. Luckily, the next day, witnesses came forward and provided invaluable information to the cops. On Sunday, a witness at the scene came forward and reported that suspects in a white SUV were responsible for the shooting. The vehicle in question was described as a white Ford Explorer with black wheels and dark-tinted windows. Surveillance video captured images of the vehicle, providing valuable evidence for the investigation.
Tonight, police are looking for a white Ford Explorer SUV in connection with the shooting.
But that was not all. Witnesses at the funeral reported that they saw two suspicious men inside the church during the funeral. Apparently, Big Jook was being watched by the men who were seated at the back of the church before heading out earlier than the rest of the mourners. What's more shocking is that the vehicle that Big Jook was murdered in also had his mom, who was seated in the back seat. The beef is definitely getting out of hand if people's moms are getting caught in the crossfire. But will the beef ever end? Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.